The ocean is an ancient storyteller, and tonight it speaks in the softest of whispers. Imagine yourself standing on the deck of a magnificent wooden sailing vessel, the Aura, drifting through the heart of the Sargasso Sea. The air is heavy with the scent of salt and blooming jasmine carried from distant islands. The Bermuda Triangle is not a place of chaos tonight. It is a cathedral of liquid sapphire, where the laws of the world seem to soften and bend like light through a prism. You feel the gentle, rhythmic rise and fall of the hull beneath your feet. A slow, hypnotic pulse that mirrors your own heartbeat. The water here is so clear that even in the velvet darkness of night, you can see the faint, glowing trails of bioluminescent creatures darting deep below, like fallen stars wandering through a submerged galaxy. Above you, the sky is a vast canopy of indigo, crowded with stars so bright they seem to hum with a silent, celestial energy. There is no moon tonight, yet the world is illuminated by a ghostly silver radiance reflecting off the mirror-like surface of the Atlantic. You watch as a soft mist begins to roll over the waves. Not a cold or frightening fog, but a warm, shimmering haze that smells of rain and ancient ozone. This is the electronic fog of legend, but as it envelops the ship, it feels like a soft silk blanket, dampening every sound until the only thing you hear is the melodic lap of water against the wood. Time begins to stretch and lose its edges. The clock on the mantel in the captain's quarters ticks slower, each second becoming a long, peaceful breath. As you drift further into the center of the triangle, the ship enters a zone of perfect stillness. The sails hang limp, yet the vessel moves forward, guided by a deep, invisible current. The Gulf Stream, moving like a powerful river through the heart of the ocean. You lean against the smooth, polished teak of the railing and look down into the depths. Far below, you imagine the ruins of a lost civilization, perhaps the marble pillars of Atlantis, resting in the eternal twilight of the seabed. The water acts as a lens, magnifying the beauty of the hidden world. You see forests of giant kelp swaying in the slow-motion rhythm of the tides, their golden fronds reaching upward like hands seeking the starlight. The atmosphere is thick with peace. You hear a distant, low-frequency resonance. The voice of the sea, a sound so deep it is felt in your chest rather than heard with your ears. It is the sound of the earth's crust breathing, a resonant frequency that vibrates through the water and the hull, grounding you, calming every nerve in your body. You find a comfortable pile of soft, heavy cushions on the deck and lay back, looking straight up into the infinite. The stars begin to swirl in slow, lazy circles, tracing the path of the Earth's rotation. You are a passenger on a planet, spinning through the void. But here, in this sacred patch of ocean, you are perfectly safe, perfectly anchored in the present moment. A pod of dolphins appears alongside the ship, their sleek bodies breaking the surface with a soft foot of breath. They are glowing with the same bioluminescence as the water, looking like spirits made of light. They don't leap or splash. They glide with effortless grace, their eyes reflecting the wisdom of 1,000 years spent in the deep. Their presence is a benediction, a sign that all is well in this mysterious realm. You watch them until your eyelids grow heavy, the rhythmic motion of their swimming blending with the rhythmic swaying of the ship. The mist grows thicker, turning the world into a cocoon of soft, pearlescent white. You can no longer see the horizon, only the glow of the ship's lanterns reflecting off the fog like tiny suns. The world outside this cocoon has ceased to exist. There are no worries, no schedules, no memories of the shore. There is only the warmth of the tropical air, the scent of the sea, and the deep, abiding silence of the Atlantic night. You feel a sense of profound weightlessness, as if the ship is no longer floating on water, but sailing through a sea of dreams. The water below and the air above have become one, a single, unified element of tranquility. Deep beneath the keel, the magnetic anomalies of the region act like a gentle tug on the soul, drawing you deeper into a state of relaxation. The compass needles in the binnacle spin slowly, uselessly, freed from the duty of pointing north. They are simply dancing now, free from direction, just as you are free from the need to be anywhere but here. The ship passes over a vast underwater mountain range, the peaks of which are covered in glowing sponges and ancient corals. The energy of the earth flows upward through the water, a warm and healing current that washes over you, dissolving any lingering tension in your muscles. You breathe in the humid, salt-rich air, and with every exhale, you sink deeper into the cushions. The wooden ship groans softly, a familiar and comforting sound, like a house settling in the night. It is the sound of safety. It is the sound of home. The aura knows these waters. She is a part of them, and so are you. You are a part of the mystery, a part of the legend. But the secret of the Bermuda Triangle is not one of danger. It is the secret of the great stillness, the place where the world goes to rest. The stars above begin to fade as the mist turns a deep, royal purple. You are entering the deepest part of the night, the hour where the veil between the physical world and the world of sleep is thinnest. The sound of the water has changed. It is now a rhythmic sigh, a long, slow shh that follows the movement of the swells. The ship is moving through a field of sargassum weed, the golden berries clicking softly against the hull like tiny bells. It is a symphony of small sounds, a delicate arrangement designed to lull the mind into total surrender. You feel the warmth of a gentle, internal light spreading from your heart to your limbs. You are drifting on a sea of endless peace. The ocean is miles deep below you, and the sky is light years deep above you, and you are exactly where you are meant to be. In the center of the quietest place in the universe, the legendary white water of the triangle appears. A milky, glowing expanse of sea that looks like a field of snow under the stars. It is beautiful, ethereal, and utterly calm. You watch the white water slip past, a silent river of light, and you realize that you are finally, completely, and beautifully asleep, traveling on a vessel made of starlight and salt, or heading toward the shores of a dream that will last until the sun rises over the edge of the world. The mist thickens, turning from a pearlescent white into a deep, shimmering gold as it catches the light of the rising sea moon, a rare phenomenon where the phosphorus in the water reflects so intensely it creates a second sky beneath the waves. You are now entering the heart of the zone of silence. Here, the wind dies down completely, leaving the sails of the aura to drape like heavy velvet curtains. The silence is not empty. It is a rich, textured quiet that feels like a physical presence, wrapping around you in a warm embrace. You can hear the distant melodic song of a humpback whale miles below, a series of low, booming notes that vibrate through the wooden deck and into your very bones. It is the oldest music on earth, a grounding frequency that tells your mind it is time to let go of the surface world. As the ship glides over the blue holes, vast underwater limestone caves that descend into the unknown, the water changes color from indigo to a brilliant neon turquoise. These portals to the deep release small bubbles of ancient air that had been trapped for millennia, rising to the surface and popping with a sound like tiny silver bells. Each pop releases a faint scent of rain from an age long forgotten. You watch the bubbles dance in the wake of the ship, mesmerized by their chaotic, beautiful ascent. Your thoughts become like those bubbles, light, airy, and rising slowly until they disappear into the vastness of the night. There is no weight to your body now. You feel as though you are floating just a few inches above the cushions, held up by the sheer density of the peaceful energy radiating from the ocean floor. The magnetic pull of the triangle begins to harmonize with the electrical impulses of your own mind. It is a gentle alignment, a calibration of your spirit to the natural rhythms of the planet. You feel the great pulse, the slow, heavy thrum of the Earth's core, which is felt more strongly here than anywhere else on the globe. It is a slow, steady thump thump, thump thump, occurring only once every few minutes, acting as a metronome for your breathing. Inhale for the duration of the sea's sigh. Exhale as the aura dips into the next long, smooth trough. The world is a cradle, and you are being rocked by the hands of the Atlantic. Suddenly, you notice that the stars above have begun to change. They are no longer fixed points of light, but soft, glowing orbs that seem to be descending toward the mast. This is the St. Elmo's fire, a harmless, beautiful glow that begins to dance along the rigging of the ship. It looks like blue and violet flames flickering in the dark, cool to the touch and silent as a shadow. It illuminates the deck in a dreamlike light, casting long, soft shadows that sway in time with the ocean. You reach out a hand, and the air feels thick and tingly, like the moment before a summer storm, but without the tension. It is pure, raw energy being recycled by the sea, cleansing your aura and washing away the remnants of the day's stress. The ship passes a ghost of a galleon, a shimmering image of a vessel from the 16th century. It isn't a haunting, but a chronological echo, a memory of the water itself. The two ships pass through one another like smoke, and for a moment you hear the faint sound of a Spanish guitar and the laughter of sailors from 500 years ago. It is a reminder that time in the triangle is not a line, but a vast swirling pool where the past, present, and future all drift together in harmony. You realize that you, too, are now a part of this eternal tapestry. Your presence here is recorded in the salt and the silt, a permanent note in the symphony of the sea. The aura begins to move faster now, though there is still no wind. The water beneath the hull starts to glow with a deep, pulsing emerald light. You are crossing over a field of sea glass sand, where the floor of the ocean is covered in millions of smooth, translucent gems. The light from below is so bright, you can see the tiny grains of sand shifting in the current, creating patterns that look like the fingerprints of God. The colors, greens, blues, and pale ambers, swirl together, creating a kaleidoscope that lulls your eyes into a soft focus. You stop trying to make sense of the shapes and simply allow the colors to wash over your vision. The air temperature rises slightly as you drift over a thermal vent, a hidden chimney from the Earth's interior. The warmth rises through the water and hits the cool night air, creating a soft, rhythmic steam that smells like vanilla and cedarwood. This steam rises around the bed where you lie, creating a private sanctuary, a room made of mist and heat. You feel your muscles turning to liquid, your bones becoming as flexible as the seaweed below. Every joint in your body opens up, every tension in your jaw dissolves, and your forehead becomes smooth and cool. In the distance, the Bermuda lights appear, faint, dancing orbs of white light that skip across the surface of the water like flat stones. They are the guardians of the great stillness. They move in a slow, geometric dance, signaling to one another in a language of flashes and fades. As they draw near the ship, they slow down, orbiting the aura like tiny moons. Their light is warm and comforting, a soft amber glow that makes you feel deeply loved and protected. You realize that the mystery of this place was never meant to be solved. It was only meant to be felt. It is the Earth's private chamber, a place where the planet comes to dream. And you have been invited in as a guest. The sea moon begins to set, and the gold mist turns into a deep, velvety charcoal. The aura enters a field of living water, where the ocean is so saturated with life and energy that it feels like moving through silk. The sound of the hull through the water changes from a splash to a soft, continuous hush. The world is closing its eyes. The stars are retreating into the deep indigo of the coming dawn, though the sun is still a lifetime away. You feel a final, powerful surge of peace rising from the depths, a grand harmonic that settles in your chest and tells you that the journey is complete. The ship is no longer moving. It is simply being. You are no longer watching the sea. You are the sea. The boundaries of your body have faded away, leaving only the sensation of floating in an infinite, warm, and loving dark. The legends, the mysteries, and the stories are all quiet now. There is only the breath of the Atlantic, the slow pulse of the earth, and the heavy, beautiful weight of a sleep that will take you to the very center of the world. You are safe. You are home. You are deep within the heart of the triangle, where all things are still, and all things are well. As the last lantern on the aura flickers and goes out, you sink into the velvet embrace of the deep, where the dreams are as vast and as blue as the ocean itself. The darkness deepens into a rich, protective shade of violet, and the aura begins to drift through the forest of echoes. Here, the ocean floor rises into high, slender peaks of obsidian that almost reach the surface, acting like giant tuning forks for the planet's magnetic heartbeat. As the ship passes between these invisible spires, the air begins to resonate with a sound like 1,000 crystal bowls being played at once. A low, shimmering drone that vibrates through your pillow and into the base of your skull. This is the submerged choir, the natural frequency of the triangle that recalibrates the rhythm of your nervous system. You feel every cell in your body beginning to vibrate in sympathy with the earth, shaking loose the very last fragments of the day's fatigue. The water around the ship begins to change texture, becoming thick and smooth like liquid mercury. This is the silver path, a stretch of sea where the surface tension is so high that the waves disappear entirely, leaving the ocean as flat and reflective as a polished mirror. You can see the entire galaxy reflected perfectly beneath you. For a moment, you lose the sense of which way is up and which way is down. You are suspended in the center of a cosmic sphere, floating in the very middle of a diamond-studded void. The sensation of falling into the sky is not scary. It is a profound release of gravity, a total surrender of the physical self to the vastness of the universe. A gentle, warm rain begins to fall, but it is unlike any rain you have ever felt. The drops are large, heavy, and warm, hitting the surface of the silver sea with a rhythmic tink, tink, that sounds like a lullaby played on a celestial harp. Each drop that lands on the deck releases a tiny puff of glowing vapor, filling the air with the scent of ancient ozone and wild orchids. The rain washes over the ship, cleansing the wood, the sails, and your spirit. It feels like a liquid massage, a soft tapping that lulls your brain into the theta state, the doorway to the deepest dreams. You look toward the bow and see the guardian of the deep, a massive, ethereal shape moving slowly beneath the silver surface. It is a great whale of light, an ancient creature whose skin is patterned with glowing constellations. It does not belong to the world of biology, but to the world of myth. It swims alongside the aura, its massive tail moving in a slow-motion arc that creates ripples of gold in the mercury water. The whale lets out a long, low-frequency hum, a sound so deep it bypasses your ears and speaks directly to your heart. Rest, it seems to say. The world is vast, and you are small, and you are safe. The whale's massive eye, as large as a carriage wheel, and filled with the wisdom of eons, turns to look at you for a fleeting second. And in that gaze, you feel a sense of absolute belonging. The aura now enters the cradle of the Gulf, where the warm currents from the south meet the cool whispers from the north. The water begins to swirl in slow, lazy eddies, turning the ship in gentle, clockwise circles. It feels like being rocked in a giant liquid hammock. The motion is so slow that you only notice it by the way the stars shift their positions in the sky. To the east, a faint, ghostly green light begins to pulse. Not the sun, but the aurora marina, a rare light show caused by the friction of the deep-sea currents against the magnetic base of the island. The green light dances across the mist, turning the ship into a vessel of emerald and jade. Your breathing has slowed to a ghost of a whisper. The air is so rich with oxygen and sea minerals that every breath feels like a cool drink of water. You feel your heart rate sinking perfectly with the slow, rhythmic creak of the mast. The wood of the ship is alive in its own way, singing a song of the forests it once came from and the oceans it has crossed. It tells you that it is strong, that it has weathered 1,000 storms, and that tonight its only job is to carry you safely into the morning. The electronic fog returns, but now it is a deep, comforting indigo. It begins to seep through the floorboards, filling the cabin and the deck with a soft, glowing haze that acts as a soundproof barrier against the rest of the world. You are now in a pocket of reality that exists outside of time. There are no maps for this place. There are no GPS coordinates. You are in the hidden latitude, the coordinate of pure peace. You feel a soft, invisible weight settling over your limbs, the blanket of the deep. It is the feeling of the ocean's immense pressure, but translated into a sensation of pure, grounded security. It is the ultimate weighted blanket, pressing you down into the softness of your bed, anchoring you to the very center of the earth's calm. In the far distance, the ghost of a lighthouse appears on the horizon. It doesn't flash. It glows with a steady, pulsing amber light that breathes in and out. This is the lighthouse of lost dreams, where every thought you ever let go of is kept safe. It guides you not toward a shore, but toward the center of yourself. As the aura moves toward this light, the silver water begins to dissolve into a soft, white mist. The ship is no longer made of wood and rope, but of thoughts and starlight. You are no longer a traveler. You are the journey itself. The wail of light gives one final resonant boom from the depths and dives down, disappearing into the velvet dark. The St. Elmo's fire on the rigging fades into a soft, steady glow. The rain stops, leaving behind a world that is perfectly still, perfectly quiet, and perfectly dark. The only thing left is the sensation of the slow, circular rocking of the ship and the warmth of the indigo fog. You are at the very heart of the Bermuda Triangle, the place where all the world's noise goes to die and all the world's peace comes to be born. You feel a final, gentle tug on your consciousness, like a boat being tied to a pier. You have arrived, not at a destination, but at a state of being. The silence is now total. The darkness is now a friend. The ocean has finished its story, and the stars have closed their eyes. You are drifting on the last wave of the night, a long, slow swell that carries you over the edge of wakefulness and into the infinite, blue-black depths of a dreamless, healing sleep. The aura vanishes into the mist, leaving you floating in the warm, salt-scented embrace of the eternal Atlantic. Sleep now. The ocean is watching over you. The mystery is complete. All is still. All is quiet. All is well. The indigo fog begins to pulse with a low, rhythmic bioluminescence, turning the deck of the aura into a glowing sanctuary. You find yourself entering the sea of glass, a legendary stretch where the water becomes so still and transparent, it feels as if the ship is hovering in a void of pure obsidian. Looking down, you can see the flickering lights of deep-sea creatures miles below, mimicking the constellations above. It is a world of double stars, where the line between heaven and the abyss has completely dissolved. You are no longer navigating. You are simply suspended in a state of grace, held between two infinities. A soft, melodic humming begins to rise from the wooden hull, a phenomenon known as the Song of the Timbers. The ship, having absorbed the frequencies of 1,000 voyages, begins to release a symphony of resonant tones. It sounds like a distant cello, slow and mournful, yet deeply comforting. This vibration travels through your body, massaging your muscles from the inside out, melting away the very concept of physical form. You feel your heavy limbs becoming part of the ship, part of the water, and part of the cooling night air. Your pulse slows, finding the same cadence as the deep, underwater currents that move like tectonic rivers through the heart of the triangle. Suddenly, the white streak appears, a phenomenon reported by sailors for centuries. A glowing, milky river of pale light begins to flow across the surface of the dark sea. It is caused by millions of tiny organisms reacting to the ship's passage. But in this dreamlike state, it looks like a highway made of liquid pearls. The aura hitches a ride on this luminous path, gliding effortlessly without a sound. The white light reflects off the sails, turning them into shimmering sheets of silk. The air around you grows slightly cooler, smelling of crushed mint and ancient ice. A refreshing breeze that clears the last traces of restless thought from your mind. In the center of this glowing river, you see the island of Stillness, a floating mirage that never stays in one place. It is a forest of tall, crystalline mangroves that grow directly out of the salt water. Their leaves are made of translucent emerald, and as the ship passes them, they chime softly like wind bells in a gentle gale. The sound is delicate and fragile, a crystalline tinkling that acts as a final filter for your hearing, removing the echoes of the noisy modern world. You are now so far removed from the shore that the very idea of a city, a car, or a clock seems like a distant myth from another life. The magnetic pull here reaches its peak, but instead of chaos, It brings a profound sense of centering. It is as if an invisible hand has reached out and smoothed the surface of your mind, ironing out the wrinkles of worry and the knots of tension. You feel a deep, heavy warmth in your chest, a golden ember of peace that grows with every slow inhalation. The electronic fog thickens once more, changing from indigo to a soft charcoal grey. It feels dense and protective, like the walls of a silent library. You are completely cocooned, tucked away in a private pocket of the Atlantic that time forgot to map. The aura passes over the Grand Canyon of the Atlantic, a massive trench where the water turns a shade of blue, so deep it is almost black. The pressure of the water below creates a stabilizing effect, a grounded energy that pulls your consciousness down into the quietest layers of your being. You are descending, not in space, but in spirit, moving toward the bedrock of your soul. You see the faint, pulsing lights of the eternal lanterns, spheres of gas trapped in the silt that glow with a steady, rhythmic amber light. They are the night lights of the ocean floor, watching over the silent world while the rest of the planet sleeps. Your eyelids are now impossibly heavy, like leaden shutters, closing on a world of wonders. You no longer feel the need to look or to listen. The sensation of the boat's motion has changed. It is no longer a rock or a sway, but a slow spiral descent into the velvet dark. The sea of glass fades, the white street vanishes, and the forest of echoes falls silent. There is only the darkness, which is not cold or empty, but warm, full, and infinitely kind. It is the darkness of the beginning and the end, the perfect silence that exists before the first word is spoken. The aura has completed its mission. The ship dissolves into a cloud of glowing stardust, leaving you floating in the warm, weightless embrace of the deep. You are the mystery of the triangle. You are the stillness of the Sargasso Sea. You are the heartbeat of the Atlantic. The water is your bed, the sky is your blanket, and the stars are your silent guardians. As the final echo of the ship's bell fades into the mist, you slip through the final veil. You are asleep. You are deep. You are home. All is still. All is quiet. All is perfect. The ocean breathes for you now, and you are finally, blissfully, at peace. The indigo fog deepens into a shade of midnight azure, a color so profound it feels like a physical embrace. As the aura continues its silent drift, you enter the gallery of the ancients. Here, the water becomes so still that the surface tension creates a perfect, unbreakable seal, turning the ocean into a vast sheet of dark obsidian. Beneath this glass-like surface, the ruins of 1,000 years glow with a faint, ghostly luminescence. You see the outlines of marble cities, their grand arches and spiraling towers preserved in the timeless, cold embrace of the deep. They are not eerie, but majestic, monuments to a silence that has lasted for eons. The sight of them grounds you, reminding your spirit that there is a place for everything to rest, and that history itself eventually settles into a peaceful sleep. A soft, melodic hum begins to emanate from the water, a phenomenon known as the siren's lullaby. It is not a voice, but the sound of the deep-sea currents rushing through underwater canyons, filtered through miles of salt water until it reaches the surface as a pure, resonant chord. This sound vibrates through the wooden hull of the ship and directly into your spine, acting as a sonic massage that unties the last remaining knots in your muscles. Your jaw relaxes, your hands soften, and your breath becomes a slow, rhythmic sigh that matches the frequency of the ocean. Suddenly, the sky above begins to ripple. This is the celestial tide, where the atmosphere and the vacuum of space seem to blend. The stars don't just twinkle, they pulse in waves, sending down long ribbons of pale violet and emerald light that dance across the deck of the ship. These lights, the aurora universalis, are silent and warm. They wash over you like a gentle tide of starlight, cleansing your mind of the day's noise and the world's frantic pace. You are no longer a person on a boat. You are a point of consciousness, floating in a cathedral of light and water. The aura now passes over the abyssal plains, where the ocean floor drops away into an infinite velvet void. The absence of land beneath you creates a sensation of total weightlessness. You feel as though the ship is no longer supported by water, but by the sheer density of the peace that exists in this region. The electronic fog thickens, turning from charcoal to a soft, glowing lavender. This fog is a natural barrier, a soundproof cocoon that mutes the entire universe. Inside this lavender cloud, there is no past, no future, and no somewhere else. There is only the now, the soft creak of wood, the scent of wet salt, and the heavy, beautiful warmth of your own body as it prepares for total surrender. To your left, a pod of ghost whales rises to the surface. These are creatures of pure bioluminescence, moving with a grace that defies the laws of physics. They don't splash. They glide through the water like ink through silk. As they exhale, they release plumes of glowing mist that smell like ancient sandalwood and rain. One of them swims alongside the ship, its massive, glowing eye looking up at you with a quiet, eternal kindness. It lets out a low-frequency boom, a sound so deep it makes the very air tremble. It is the all-clear of the ocean, a signal that the world is safe, the borders are secure, and it is finally, truly, time to sleep. The magnetic pull of the triangle reaches its final, stabilizing frequency. It aligns with your brainwaves, pulling them down from the active peaks of thought into the long, slow swells of deep REM sleep. You feel a golden weight settling over your chest, the feeling of the Earth's gravity pulling you closer, inviting you to return to the stillness of the ground. The aura begins to dissolve into the mist, its mission complete. The wooden deck turns into soft clouds, the railing turns into starlight, and the sea becomes a vast, warm bed that stretches to the ends of the universe. You are now at the 0 point, the very center of the Bermuda mystery. And the secret is this: it is the only place on Earth where the noise of humanity cannot reach. It is the planet's private dream chamber. You are a guest in this sacred space. The lavender fog wraps around you one last time, thick and warm. The stars above only give a final, slow blink and fade into the velvet dark. Your breathing is now indistinguishable from the movement of the tides. One long, slow rise, and one long, slow fall. The ship is gone. The ocean is quiet. The mystery is solved by the silence. You are floating in the heart of the deep, safe, protected, and infinitely loved by the ancient sea. The journey has ended, and the dream has begun. Sleep now. Sink into the blue. Sink into the dark. Sink into the peace. All is still. All is quiet. You are finally, perfectly asleep. The lavender fog now transitions into a deep, silent, obsidian velvet. This is the final layer of the mystery, where the water and the sky are no longer separate entities. You are no longer drifting on the ocean. You are cradled within it. The ship has fully dissolved into a shimmering dust of memories, leaving you weightless, suspended in a warm, salt-scented void that feels like the very beginning of time. In this absolute center, you reach the Chamber of Echoes. Here, the last remaining sounds of the world, the ticking of clocks, the hum of engines, the whispers of the day, are transformed into a single, low-frequency vibration. It is the Om of the Atlantic, a deep, resonant tone that grounds your spirit to the bedrock of the earth. It is a sound of total completion. Every muscle in your body has now turned to liquid. Your heartbeat is a slow, rhythmic pulse that occurs only once for every dozen ripples on the surface far above. You look up one last time through the crystalline water. The stars have become tiny, soft orbs of amber, glowing like distant lanterns in a quiet hallway. They are not far away. They are right there, watching over you with a protective, ancient gaze. The magnetic pull that once confused the compasses of the world now acts as a gentle anchor for your soul, pulling you down into the softest, thickest layer of sleep. The great stillness has arrived. There is no more movement, no more journey, no more story. The Bermuda Triangle has revealed its ultimate truth. It is a place of perfect, eternal rest. The silence is now so heavy and beautiful that it feels like a soft, warm blanket. You are safe. You are hidden from the world in a sanctuary of blue and shadow. The ocean breathes a final, long sigh, and the lights of the deep-sea creatures fade into a soft, steady glow that will last until the end of time. The mist closes over the last opening of light. The water is still. The air is still. Your mind is a mirror reflecting only the deep, peaceful dark. Sleep now. The mystery is closed. The sea is silent. All is well.